I don't know if you could see that, but 13 bucks, 3.15 gallons in the Sabre. And that's with putting a couple, I don't know how much I put in, but it got up to 2 bars on the gas gauge. So now, since we have gas in it, we're gonna flip this from reserve to on, and we're good to go. That's why bikes are so awesome, because this bike holds what, like 3.15, 3.125 gallons probably. I don't know, but could probably run. Let's see, set the trip reset. Here's the trip meter, 2.3 miles, trip reset. Doop. There we go, down to 0. So, back on the 83 Sabre that we love. Here we go. On our trip. This thing always seems to rev a little low at idle until you get her warmed up real good. So here we go. I put a new seat on this bike, and I was dumb, and I totally, I used this stuff we called Blue Shine when I was in the detail business, and it's basically silicone spray. So now I'm sliding around in my seat. Hopefully my butt absorbs that, but that wouldn't be good, because then I'll still be sliding around. Anyway, here we are. I need to share with you a reason why not to have 9 or 10 bikes to ride, because especially going into fall and winter, and if you're busy, you're never going to get a chance to ride them all. So I went to this bike. I did have it on the charger, and unfortunately I took it off, and for some reason, anytime this bike doesn't get ridden, it dies. You could put a brand new battery on it and it still will die. And honestly, it has that stupid clock. It's not even on it right now, but it just always drains a little bit of power. So I had to jump start it, and when I jump started it, it told me that I didn't have any fuel. And I thought I had filled this bike up. Well, apparently not, unless it all leaked out somewhere, because I just put a whole 3.25 gallons in. Let's see. I don't want my ETA. I don't know what I want. Alright, so here we go. So anyway, put down my visor. The last thing you want to do is neglect maintenance on your bikes. And if you have so many bikes that you don't know what you've done to what, you better keep good records. And so that's one thing I would say. Because this 83 Sabre, the last time I rode it, I think I did a video on it and showed you guys around it. And now I stole the battery from the EX500 Ninja, so this thing would have a good battery. I think this is a good battery on it. If not, maybe that's why it's dying. I'll have to see if I have a good battery on the Ninja, because I'm pretty sure, I don't know, they're the same size. So sometimes I steal a good battery for another bike. So anyway, babbling on, but yeah, it's just kind of, I don't know, maybe I should sell a couple bikes and focus on fixing the ones that aren't running. But when you have a bike you really love, like this one, it's just super comfortable and fun to ride, and usually pretty reliable, and she gets up and goes, and she has a clock. So I don't know, the buttons for the clock I think are up here somewhere, down here somewhere. Oh, there's my horn. Didn't mean to do that. I guess I'll worry about it in the light. But right now, I hope I put my wallet in my pocket. I did, okay. Right now we're cruising at night and have too much traffic to really get going, so gotta get past these guys when we have a chance. But this poor bike, it's been garaged, which is better than some of my bikes, but it just doesn't get the riding that it deserves. And if you know anything about older motorcycles, usually letting them sit is the worst thing you can do for them, because I mean, eventually tires dry rot and brakes seize up and all that good stuff, especially if they're sitting outside. You do not do any justice to a motorcycle letting it sit outside, especially if it's not covered. Then it's just, oh, it's just the worst thing you can do for a motorcycle. It hurts my heart. But let's go. I can't see what gear I'm in. Third? Let's see, nothing will light up on the gauges until I hit overdrive. Then I think we'll see. Right now? Oh, nope. It just says OD, which is 6th gear on the little digital dash, which I can see it now, but it's really hard to see in the dark. So yeah, this is a very different setup than what I've been riding. I've been on the 3rd gen Magnas and stuff, riding that 84 Shadow 700. The Sabre, like I said, I put a new seat on it. It's a really decent seat. It has a little bit of a tear in it, but I shined it up, so I'm slipping around on it. But as you saw in this Sabre, I just put over 3 gallons in it, and I'll have to look up specs, but I bet you if we don't ride too spirited, we can probably get 50, 60 miles per gallon on this bike. And we have dual brakes in the front, either side of the wheel, drum brake in the rear. I don't know, it's just a really good bike. The older Honda Sabres. Now, if you know, Honda came out with the Sabre name again, but it's basically a Shadow Sabre. This was the original Sabre. More of an upright riding position. You're planted with your legs underneath ya. Ah! Oh! Forgot about those bumps. But a little bit more of a standard rider than the Magnas, but it is a V45, 82 horsepower, and just a lot of fun. If you're a shorter guy like me, you might have a little bit of trouble with your legs straddling and touching the ground, but it's certainly not the end of the world. I can touch both feet down, and this bike hasn't been altered as far as height goes or seat, because this, I went and put a stock seat on it, so it's comfortable, perfectly good. Liquid cooled, like I said, V45. This is the 750 before the tariffs jumped in 84. As I said, this is 83. 82 is when the Sabre first started, and they did change a few things in 1 year, guys. So the 82 and the 83, I have both models. The airbox was different. Some things I'm sure do swap over, but I'll tell you what, I thought I had some parts for an 80. Well, the airbox for the 82 was definitely different than the 83 airbox. So that's just something I found along the way. I think visually they're pretty similar. I think the dash is pretty similar. I'll have to look at all the V45 Sabres I have. I have 2 other ones, I think. I'm pretty sure. I think I have an 82 and an 83, because I believe they're all 750s. I know one I bought, it had a small fire, came out the left side of the airbox, So I think there's some things to replace on that. I haven't even messed with it. Because you know, when you buy a bike that's been sitting for so long, you probably gotta pull out the carburetors. And who wants to do that? This bike does need new grips. They're kind of roached and falling apart. But with my M1 moto gloves on, I don't really care. It's not really a big deal. M1 to the rescue. Thanks Sean and Bikes and Beards for making me styling. These bikes do handle pretty well. Your seating position is a little more like a sport bike, so if you be cornering, you can do your counter steering, and your hands are basically where you would be on a sport bike, but the riser's a little higher, so I'm lying. You're just not like a cruiser. I should just stop talking, because really, the information I'm giving you is confusing myself. Now that's basically it. I wanted to prove to you that I'm still riding. Temperature is probably 72. Probably the low 70s. I have a hoodie on. I should have my armored jacket, but I brought a backpack and threw some stuff in it. Threw the battery charger, battery jump start pack that I bought at Walmart the other day. Threw that in there, just in case I do have some issues starting this. Hopefully, the alternator gets her charged well, and I don't have any issues starting it. I wonder if the whole fuel, yeah, so just to tell you, when I went to start this, the battery was dead, so I jump started it, fired it up, and said I had low fuel. So I got it running, and it sat there and idled for a little while. When I came out to leave, it was off, so I had to drop some fuel in it to get to the fuel, to get to the gas station. And I did, filled it up, and I guess we're good to go now. She is warmed up good. You can see the temp gauge right there. There's 3 bars because it's definitely chill out tonight. So we're cooling as we're moving. This does have liquid cooling, as I said. The fan actually doesn't kick on. Somebody bypassed it. I don't know if the thermostat went bad and they decided to bypass it. So I have this nifty little switch here on the dash that I flip when I need the fan to come on, but it's really, I'm glad I remembered that. I forgot about that. It's good to know if I'm overheating, then I would have remembered, but I had forgotten that I better keep an eye on the temperature. Not that it's a problem tonight, probably wouldn't be, but it's good to remember those things. But ran into some guys that he told me his first bike was an '83 Sabre, and then he asked how much I would want for this thing, and I said, well, I'm not really looking to sell it. So anyway, I got out and rode it. So even if I'm not looking to sell it, I figured I better stock some miles, rack up some miles on it, just in case I would decide to let it go. I guess that's about it for tonight, guys. Thanks for following along. Another funny thing, when I bought this bike, the tachometer didn't go up past 5. Like, it would go the whole way up to 5, but it wouldn't pass there. After I broke it in, rode it, got it moving, it freed up, and it actually now does do the full gauge, but it must have been just kind of seized up in there. And really, you could ride this bike all day long and keep it below 5,000 RPMs. But if you really want to feel the speed, feel the power, you're going to go up, because red line's at 10, so you might as well rev it out. It's good for the bike, good for the soul. So anyway, get out and ride. Have a great day, and I will see you on the next one.